new day draws eligible voters closer to the 2023 general election. The political space has been busy with preparations by INEC, the candidates and their supporters, as well as eligible voters. For INEC and eligible voters, they were concerned with the PVC registration and collection. For candidates, however, it is expected that they use this period to woo supporters, either through debates or declaration of the manifesto, which is in itself a declaration of their intent and motives. Observers are, however, worried that most political campaigns in Nigeria tend to deviate from issues, but instead lean towards campaigning of calumny. On Frontline this week, we will be assessing the conduct of candidates and the importance, if any at all, that the manifesto contributes to the outcome of an election. And I have here with me in the studio this afternoon the Labour Party Senatorial candidate, Barrister Neda Imasuen. Sir, you're welcome to Frontline.
Thank you so very much. Thanks for having me.
So in a few days' time, we'll enter the month. We are already in the month of the election. How would you assess the electioneering process so far?
Well, so far, so good. But we could have do better than this. I say so because of the issues surrounding collection of PVCs. We've been saying in most places, or in some places rather, hiccups in picking up the PVCs, either because they are not available at those places, or people go around to disturb and to cause confusion so that some people don't collect their PVCs. So I will call on all security agencies to take this very seriously, because the power of the people is in the PVC. This is the only opportunity Nigerians have in every 4 years to determine who rules them. And so it's something that we should take very seriously.
And so what about the campaigns, the process of campaigns itself? How would you assess how candidates and their supporters have been going about, campaigning?
Well, let me restrict myself to my senatorial district, which is Edo South Senatorial District. So far, all the candidates have been very civil. I haven't actually heard anyone saying anything against each other. I think the focus is on talking to the electorate.
As a politician now and a key stakeholder in this election, how do you think issues like this affect, democracy itself and the process of the election?
Well, it's information added to the public. It gives the public the opportunity to now decide, based on information before them, who they will vote for to lead them. It's very germane to the growth and deepening of our democracy. It's all about information. And so if the public is seized with this information, then they can make what I would call an educated decision on who they should vote for. And I would say again, looking at the three big candidates, Peter Obi stands out. Clean man. I mean, there's nothing they can put on him. And if you look at his antecedents as the governor of Anambra State, it's clean. And so if you look at the three, and for citizens to make their choices, then they should make their choices based on information available to us. And this is information available to us.
And so let's talk about, the medium by which candidates sell themselves to their eligible voters now, which is perhaps debate and manifesto. There are different schools of thought. Some believe that they are not really necessary. Others value this opportunity to sell themselves to their candidates. Wholesome opportunities now. So what's your own take?
Well, I believe that if you want to serve the people should know you. You should be able to come up and tell the people why you are vying for the office you are vying for. You should be able to make yourself available. You are in the public space now. You can't afford to hide from it, yet seeking it. So for me, it's a medium that is very welcoming on part of the candidates and that of the electorate, because it offers us the opportunity to tell the people who we are, what we want to do for them when elected, and for the electorate to sit down in the comfort of their homes, listen to us, and then make their informed decisions. So I think it's something that should be encouraged.
And so, do you think that there should be some, information that should not be revealed to the public now? When you're a candidate, you automatically are supposed to be, everything about you is supposed to be made public, or don't you think so? So, do you think there's some information that should be restricted?
Well, the information that I think should be restricted is something that is so personal to the person. But if it's that personal to you, then it shouldn't be public in the first place. So if it makes its way to the public domain, then you should check how that happened. But information as to how you have served the country should not be something that should not be in public discourse, because it is what you did in the past that will be used to assess what you will do now or in the future. So to the extent that one will be talking about one's children or one's spouse or something of that nature, no, that shouldn't be in the public space. I will not even discuss that. But as far as your capacity, your ability and capability is concerned, your competence, yes, it's a matter that has to be discussed.
And so there are messages. The messages in manifestos and intent of candidates vary from one to the other. Do you think candidates do enough now to ensure that the public understand what's in their manifesto?
No, I really don't think so. But again, I say so on my behalf. What I do is to talk to the people. I reach out to the people. I go to the villages. I go to public gatherings and tell them exactly, introduce myself, introduce what we will do, individual as a legislator when elected, and also as a member of the Labour Party for what we stand for. And also looking for opportunities such as this to also let the people know me and what I stand for as an individual and as a member of the Labour Party. But some people don't believe in that. Some people believe that election has to be bought. I don't know if you read today's papers. A presidential candidate is complaining that the cards are stacked against him because they changed the color of the naira. And I'm asking myself, how does that stack against you as an individual? Is everyone in the country that is in this game? So how is it stacked against you individually, if not because you've been stopped from pulling a bullion van from point A to point B to have this money to buy your electorate? That has been taken away from them. And I believe and I pray and I hope that the security agencies will take this very seriously, to the extent that on election day, no one should be allowed to come there to buy anybody's votes. So there are those who believe in that. But there are those who believe in the subject matter, those who believe in issues as it relates to today's Nigeria, and telling the people what the problem is, and the solution to address those problems. And that is the position of the Labour Party under the presidency of Peter Obi.
And so, apart from campaigning now for votes, do you think candidates should also sensitize their followers on other issues like political election violence, how to go about conducting themselves before, during, and after the election? Do you think that is also the responsibility of candidates?
It's a collective responsibility, not just the candidates, but of the electorate themselves and of the youths and men and women who allow themselves to be used to truncate democracy. It's also the responsibility of the security agencies. So it's a collective responsibility, and I pray and I hope, as I call upon my co-candidates, to please, let's eschew violence, let us talk to the people. If we have something to offer the people, we shouldn't kill them first. They should be alive, so we can offer our services to them.
And so you in particular, Mr. Neda Imasuen, you're breaking, a record. You're the first senatorial candidate under the Labour Party in Edo State. And so how does this make you feel?
Good. I mean, I'm trailblazing. It's good. I'm very confident given the position and where we are now as a party, the Labour Party, what we stand for. I don't want to use the word manifesto because it's a cliche. Oftentimes it sounds like New Year resolutions. I don't want to go there. Our manifesto, if I will use that, is what we have before us. Hunger, thirst, security, education, healthcare. These are the issues before us. The economy. Inflation is going off the roof. Have you heard about what they talk about the ways and means, what is going on in the Senate? How central bank is just opening the vote for the federal government to take as much money as they want, and now inflation is off the roof. So, this is the issue for us, and how do we address them as a party when we get there?
And so before we get to what you are bringing to the table, let's meet you, because I'm sure you have a quantum of achievements that you would like to reel out to the people. So let's meet you, sir.
Thank you. My name again, Barrister Neda Imasuen. Of course, the Labour Party candidate for Edo South Senatorial District. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I'm also an administrator. I have my bachelor's degrees in law, admitted to practice law in Nigeria. I have a master's degree in MP of Public Administration from the United States, where I also practiced law before I came back to the country. And I worked I actually came in through the European Union, where I was a state coordinator for the SU Street program in Jigawa State. From there, I also worked for the World Bank program in Delta State, where we're in charge of, my description then was what we call the legislative consultant for the single treasury account when it was just coming out. So we trained them in Delta State to be able to do that. And it just was a good experience for me, because in that program we realized that there's so many parastatals ministries that had up to about 15, 16, 17 accounts in different banks, and which was not even known. And there were money in all these accounts. And so it's a good thing that you have this single treasury account system that is going on. Yes, I was in forefront in one of those who were trained to train Nigerians on this. So I was in Neda State doing that. And then I worked recently until April of this year when I resigned as the senior legislative aide to Senator Matthew Urogide. I was sitting in Abuja where as a senior legislative aide I was very much into the bills, the motions, and basically running the office. So I have that experience there, which I think will come to fore when elected. Okay,
so you said a lot of from your work experience. I see that you spent can I safely say majority of your time outside the state. You are hoping to speak for your people, at the Senate if elected. Do you know your people? What have you, in this period, have you taken time, to know your people?
Of course, like I said earlier, I visited the nook and crannies of my senatorial districts. I've gone to the two of yours, Orion, there. Of course, the three main one here, Igor, Gubao, already. Yes, I know my people. I've actually traveled and transversed the area to know them and for them to also know me.
And so, sir, what are you bringing to the table?
Very, very simple for me. Simple not because the task is simple. It's simple because we've been able to simply identify what the problems are. And the problems, you know it. My viewers watching us know it. We know the hunger in the land. We know the corruption system that is going on here. And we know that there's this government, for me, is not ready to tackle the corruption issues. And I believe that if we tackle the corruption issues in this country, we would have been sailing to a very good, good journey, ending well for us as a country and as individuals. What do I mean? If you look at, I keep saying it, the office of the Auditor General of the Federation that is charged with blocking the loopholes, stopping corruption, is not funded. And I just believe it's not funded for a purpose. You can imagine a whole parastatus of the Auditor General's office for the Federation having, go back to 2023 budget, 6 million, that is the budget for the whole year. What are they supposed to do with that? And if you look at what is earmarked for them to hire outside consultants, 300,000. What is that? So it just clearly tells you that they're not ready to fight corruption. It's a country that wants to catch a thief after he steals instead of stopping the thief from stealing in the first place. And so if we are really serious about this, then let us look at the audit bill. The audit bill in the 8th and 9th Senate was prepared from our office. Okay. And this audit bill had twice gone to the Senate, to the President, never signed. And if they sign that audit bill, give teeth to the law, to the enforcement of those who will break those rules, this country would save a whole lot of money. You heard about departments where snakes swallow money. You heard about our Accountant General making away with so much huge amount of money because he's not audited. If the Auditor General, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you something. When Matthew really came on board, he started from the 2016 or 2017 audit of MDAs, Ministry, Department and Agencies. He's leaving now. I'm not sure he can go beyond 2019. So you can imagine what we unearthed for those periods of years and what could have been stopped had the audit bill been in place. So there are a lot of things that needs to be done to be able to move this country forward.
And you see yourself as the man to do that?
Of course, because like I said, I was very much involved in the preparation of the audit bill that I'm talking about. And I believe that when the caliber of the person of His Excellency Peter Obi comes on board, that's the first bill he will attend to. Because he knows the consequences of it. He knows what it to do to help curb corruption that we all speak about.
Okay, and so there's this, new consciousness amongst Nigerians. You see the turnout of people to register for their PVC, and you saw what happened in Lagos, where youths were, the eagerness was even, getting to a sort of violence. And some people believe, friends, and some believe that it's the new political consciousness amongst Nigerians. Do you think that is so?
I agree. I mean, there's a new political consciousness going on in this country. It didn't start today. It has been brewing. And I think it's coming to a crescendo now. And what's the reason? Remember the NSAS. If you look, even just recently coming from the NSAS point of view, if you look at the NSAS and look at what the youths agitated against, have those agitations, that what they agitated against, been met? No, they have not been met. It's still there. There's still police brutality. There's still a whole lot of things going on. And in one of the places where I gave a speech on Youth Day, I also said that this time, the day of that, the NSAS, that time is frozen in time until the country begins to address the problem of the youths. Unemployment is serious amongst them. That is why you hear the word Japa. Japa, is it Japa? Did I say it right? Japa. Everybody's leaving the country. Everyone is leaving the country. Our doctors are leaving. our nurses are leaving, our pharmacists are leaving, now our teachers. Now it's our teachers. So I'm asking, who then will take over the country? We are in a precipice, and we must stop it at this time. So the agitation or the new wave of people having this consciousness of wanting to change the government is as a result of bad governance. And if we do not change this government or this bad governing system, the country will actually run itself into abyss.
And so, sir, we would like you to give a word to, because we're very close to the election now. Could you give a word to Edo people as they prepare for the 2020 general election? And of course, while doing that, could you just also tell them, that's not just Edo in general now, people of Edo South, what you plan to actually do for them?
Well, as we go for the election, I actually encourage everyone to please, one, collect your PVC because it's very important. And secondly, on the election day, consider it as a day for you to render your civic duty to this country. It is for your future, it is the future of your children, and for the future of your children's children. We must all come out en masse to vote for the candidates of our choice. And I just hope and I pray that that candidate will be the Labour Party and myself as the senatorial candidate for Edo South Senatorial District. What will I do for the people? It's what I've been discussing. Edo South Senatorial District is not different from Edo North. Neither is it different from Edo Central. Neither is it different from Kano Central. It's a holistic national problem.
The want of the people are relatively the same.
It's the same. We are hungry. We want security. We want good education. We want to stop and curb this corruption. It's so endemic and so dangerous that we must stop it before it consumes all of us. I know we have specific needs in Edo South. And these needs, where I go, we don't have water. We don't have electricity. We don't even have asphalted road. Or they should please grade our roads. Scholarship for children. All these are out there. I hear them. And it's something that we'll address. But why is it a legislative function now? Because there's a gap. When the executive that has the budget, that has the money to do these things, refuse to do them, then the legislators step in. And so that is why it has become incumbent now for electorate to look at the legislator who is supposed to be there to do three things: make laws for the good governance of the country, to do an oversight function of MDAs to make sure that what the statutes that establish them, ask them to do, they do them, and three, to attract dividends to the constituents. These are three major functions of the legislature. It is within the third component, which is attracting development, that we attempt to address the issues. And if you go around now in Edo Edo South Senatorial District, it moves in some villages. My Senator Matthew Rohide, who was my boss, did a lot there. I remember one of those occasions that we went to Yekoba, a man in his 70s, when we turned on the borehole water, he drank it and said it's the first time he's doing that in his life. That is the stream water that he used to drink. So it's as bad as that. So yes, I know these things. I've been part of it, and I will continue in it.
Thank you very much. We have been discussing with Barrister Neda Imasuen. He is the Labour Party senatorial candidate for Edo South, and of course, it has been an interesting episode. We've gotten to know him better, and of course, I'm sure Edo people too now know him better. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on Frontline.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the privilege.
And so that's how it has been. We hope you join us again next week for another episode. And on behalf of the crew, I say thank you for watching and stay blessed.